Hello and welcome to Inside Story, the API's magazine program and your official source for what's happening in your community. I am Life Compton. This week, we hear about the continued upgrade of the Sir Vincent Beach Athletic Facility, while we look at the government's continued push to assist people in housing who are affected by Hurricane Beryl. We'll also look at transparency, integrity, and responsible conduct ahead of the November 27th general elections and the Office of the Supervisor of Elections' role in the election process. Community Beat will look at protecting the Kings Hill Forest Reserve, while Inside Minute will give us tips on how to properly vote as it relates to marking your X. Stay with us, we have an entertaining and informative package ahead.
Looking for sun, sea, and culture? Hop on American Airlines from the US to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Easy, breezy, and unforgettable. Let the adventure begin.
Welcome back. The construction and upgrade of the Sir Vincent Beach Athletic Facility marks a significant step toward enhancing sports engagement here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the wider region. This facility, when fully upgraded, will provide state-of-the-art amenities for athletes, and to date, substantial progress has been achieved in key phases of the development. The ongoing efforts reflect the commitment of all stakeholders, which include contractors, engineers, and local authorities, to delivering a high-quality facility.
Can we do it?
Hello, good day everyone. I'm Shade. I work with Fraser Construction, and today I'm going to be giving you an updated tour of the Diamond Sporting Facility. The last time you guys were here, we had just been doing the block work for the building. Now, as you guys can see, we have finished our tiling work, our ceiling work has begun. We have installed these interior window wall. We have 2 open office spaces. This will be one. There will be a lounge and a second office space open. Going to your right, we have our male bathrooms. Then this will be our conference room. It will receive carpeting. Next to that, this is the stadium manager office and his secretary. Going further, we have results and preparations for our doping control. This room is the doping control room, and the waiting room and the results. Also, this opening will facilitate the emergency exit, which we'll have to build a stair for. This will be the female bathroom. St. Vincent is stepping towards a more energy conservation and sustainability, and here at the Diamond Sporting Facilities, we're going to be installing solar panels, and also we're going to be utilizing rainwater harvesting so that the building would be using these energy saving and water conservation systems.
Can we do it?
This is the St. Vincent Beach Stadium storage building. What we have here will be storing the equipment for the park and the racetrack. This structure has a steel frame which is more hurricane resistant, and we use the blockwork to reinforce it. The facility is 80 by 44 feet in dimensions. This will be the security booth with the washroom facilities.
When we come back, we meet with a resilient Glen resident who has benefited from the government's housing initiative. Welcome back. You're viewing Inside Story. Hurricane Beryl left many Vincentians grappling with the challenges of repairing or rebuilding their houses. Over and over, the API has heard from residents who felt hopeless, not knowing where help would come from or how long it would take before someone heard their pleas. Jasmine Haynes Shallow of Glen is one such individual whose adversity took root after the passage of Hurricane Beryl. She, however, remains in good spirits, rearing fowls while keenly observing the rebuilding process. Haynes Shallow expresses gratitude to God and the government for the assistance she has received thus far. Here's more.
Good evening. We are coming to you from the lovely community of Glen. It's a cool evening, and I'm very happy to be here with Mrs. Jasmine Haynes Shallow, a Glen resident who has lived in this location all her life. She has a story of adversity, not our usual culprits, but again, usual in the form of wood lice. However, she has received assistance from the government to change and to replace her roofing. And she's very happy, and I'm glad she has consented to share her story with us. Thank you so much. How are you doing?
I'm blessed.
Yes. Can you tell us exactly what happened after the passage of Hurricane Beryl?
Well, I must say a blessed good afternoon to each and everyone who is under the sound of my voice. I'm Jasmine Haynes Shallow from Glen. I'm living on a hilltop where there were no drainage connected from the back of my house and my neighbor's house. However, when Hurricane Beryl had passed, we came down few days before the actual hurricane started. We got a lot of rain, a lot of flooding. I was actually flooded by a lot of debris came down from the back of my house. And when I do check the day during the storm, we were trying to clear the back of the house because a lot of log, a lot of coconut shells, a lot of pots and pans, a lot of wood, and all those had wood lice. And I noticed, my daughter said, "Jazz, look there." So when I looked, the debris had jammed. They came down and they jammed the door, the back of the house, which you will see later on. And because of the heavy debris, we left it because there was lots of water running down the hill. And we leave it to run off until the next day. We went up. Now I got some men to help me clear. So we went up and we start jogging out the logs that came down. And by doing that, we exposed them even more. So they take root. You will see the lots of marks went up And I noticed, you know, the way how they took three space up to the back of the house, and they went up and they make havoc. They build nests. They went all to the flooring in my daughter's room because like they were looking for rescue.
As well.
That's what you know, they were looking for rescue, and having my daughter cap it underneath when she raised up. I think she has pictures of it, but it was really, 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 you know, and they went up in the roof and they built nests, because when the guys came and lift up the rigging of the roof, I had to reach by green finger to get some plywood, and we had to evacuate. Everybody had to come downstairs by me, downstairs, yeah. And right now they're still downstairs because of how when we lift up the rigging, it's like boom, like the nest actually dropped. So we had to spray them, give the roof a while, and even part of the roof, the whole the board, because it wasn't treated. The roof wasn't treated, so they take advantage of it. So within a week, we had problems. We had to evacuate. My daughter had to evacuate from upstairs and come downstairs, which she's still downstairs.
Did you take off the roof altogether?
We had to take off the roof.
Okay.
The whole roof had us to take off because they went up. They went up in numbers, and we had to take off the entire roof.
Okay.
We had to take off everything, burn them. We still have some there because it's always wood. We can't just burn in the neighborhood like that. So we had to wait till the neighbor's gone to get rid of them, because we leave them there, that's it.
And it will spread.
It would spread.
So walk me through the process where you got assistance. Who did you speak to first?
Well, actually, I put it to the minister, which is our area representative, Camilo Gonsalves, and he quickly responded. But it took a while. It was delaying because I'm living downstairs, which my downstairs roof is treated, so they couldn't get to trample with that. So I have my daughter and her 2 sons downstairs. We all bound together with 1 bedroom. So I put all of that to him. Whatever conversation they had, it went to the Prime Minister's office. So then it worked from there. So Candyman came in. Right, Candyman came in. He came, he saw the damage, and then he walked from there. So he got his assessors and his workmen and sent them straight with the materials. Well, if you know, the work is still progressing because it's wood lice and the roof, the wood, the pieces of woods from up in the roof that start dropping. You know, it was real bad. It was real bad. It's just like, okay, Beryl, the roof didn't blow off. But if he did come a second time, it wouldn't have blow off, it would have dropped in. Because all the boards them get soft, nothing, because remember they're not treated. So they make
waterlogged as well.
Right, you know, so it was real bad. It was real, real bad. And then they take a toll quick in the porch. They tell you how much you say wood lice, they walk. Wood lice, it
They
really
didn't sleep, eh?
And I will advise anyone who find out that they have wood lice around the house to start treating it now, because once they get in the wall and get in the roof, they find themselves in the roof, and once it's not treated, that's it.
That's it.
And I'm so thankful for the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines to assist me in this gesture, and I'm so thankful, and I give him blessings to Almighty God that he may go from strength to strength, that he may be able to get his way back in, that he may be able to help more persons, even though they didn't get affected by the storm. Because some people have their old roof from way back when, you know, and they will need the little help.
Can you take me back to when the work on your roof started?
Well, actually, when now were we in?
We just started November.
November. We started in, I think it's the month after the hurricanes stopped. After the hurricane, everything settled. I didn't rush it, but because of what my daughter saw under her carpet, if she was here, she would have told you she had to take up the carpet and burn it in right inside, in front there. She had to burn everything. You know, she had to burn everything. She had to get rid of all her course cupboard and everything because they make room in, and you know. But it was about a month, I think it's 2 months after, 2 months after the hurricane, because we didn't sure what would have taken place after, because in the middle over the kitchen, that is where you used to drop all in the wares, the pieces, warm. They don't shell out. Woodlice, they don't eat them out.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Yep.
Tiny but mighty.
Mighty, very, very, very mighty. They're disgusting, I must say.
You said they walk me now, right here, right now.
Yeah, right here, right now.
So what are they walking on now?
Well, actually, they are plastering. Well, actually, apart from that roof, my daughter, she has a big son, and they find it fit to put on, because the bedroom where she was in is a 1-bedroom. So they find it fit to put on an additional room for her.
Okay. All right, very good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
that along with a bathroom, because as a nurse, you know, she need that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's restoration and there's an addition as well.
Yes, please.
Okay, that's very nice.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing your story with us. It's a bit unusual, but it's not strange. A lot of people suffer from, well, their houses are victims of woodlice infestation, and it's just strange, as you said, your roof didn't go off during the passage of the hurricane, but it fell victim to woodlice.
Right.
And you're able to get this assistance, and your roof is back on.
Yeah.
But you still have to wait a while before you go back into the upstairs.
Yeah. Because we had to spray. was to go and buy, I think it's 2 bottles of the Pilude at Greenfinger. So based on the measurement, we had to do that. So the guys them had to spray the entire. And even now, as we speak, they try to make way in, because they come like they get in the earth. You know, they come like they found out.
So they could probably rise up anytime.
Yeah, but because the place is treated now, they have
some more protection.
Yes.
So, all right. So, again, thank you for talking to us.
Yes.
I pray that you'll be upstairs shortly and comfortable.
Very much
you
so.
and your family, and
Very
pray
much
that the woodlice remains out.
Yeah.
And going forward, you know, adversity, storms bring so many different challenges, affect us in so many different ways. But I'm glad you were able to get help, and I want to wish you all the best going forward.
Very much appreciated. And how should I say?
So you will send us the picture when you're upstairs, when everything is back to normal. Are you going to repaint?
Yeah, we're going to paint. We're going to repaint.
You'll send us a picture when you're in your porch, when you're fully restored, and we'll be so happy to see that you are back under your former, even better condition.
That's right. Yes. That's right.
So thank you for talking to us.
You're welcome.
And all the best.
Take care. God bless you.
Thank you.
If you're just joining us, you're viewing Inside Story. As the nation prepares to head to the polls on November 27th, the call for transparency, integrity, and responsible conduct continues to echo across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The Office of the Supervisor of Elections is urging all eligible voters to not only participate, but to do so peacefully, respectfully, and with honesty. Whether it's confirming your registration, assisting the elderly, or waiting patiently in line at your polling station on election day, every act of cooperation helps strengthen trust in the process and keeps our democracy strong. This feature takes a closer look at the importance of transparency, calm, and civic responsibility. More from Nika Anderson-Isaacs.
Transparency and security is very critical in this period. What measures have been put in place to ensure the integrity and security of the voting process?
The voting process, all the persons who are there, they are monitoring the process.
Okay.
So that's the transparency.
International observers.
Including international observers, because they would be accredited also. You see, I have my badge here. I was using it as a part of our identification. This, I had to have a badge to go into all the polling stations that I had to visit, or otherwise you can't go, you must have authority.
Okay.
Transparency, everybody sees what happens. The only thing is that we don't see a vote.
Okay.
We could only see the votes at the end of the day, but at that time, we will not be able to know who voted for who.
Okay.
Because the counterfoil will be removed. The counterfoil would have your name and your number, your constituency, sorry, and your number. That is just to say that you came in to vote.
Okay.
Not to say who you vote for, because that will be removed before it goes into the box. And those votes that go into the box, those are the ones that will be counted. At the time when the votes are ready to be counted, they will come out, the box will be emptied. All the persons who are working in the station will see that, will witness that.
Okay.
And they will be unfolded one at the other. You will see the mark. If the presiding officer says X, they must show you that they mark the X for X.
Okay.
If they show you for Y, you must see because it will be shown to you. That's the transparency.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, after all that, and you put back that in the box, in envelopes. In an envelope, a large envelope will contain all the documents that should go in the box. It is locked and it is sealed.
Okay.
All the workers must sign off to say, this was the result at our station.
Okay. Okay. How will the electoral office handle and report any complaints or irregularities on election day?
Once people report them, we will look at it. We have the legal team that we could approach to find out if there's any problem that we can't handle. But we examine all of that. Like, for instance, the last election, people would come and say, my name was inadvertently left out. We would check our system, make sure that you were there, and you would be on.
Okay. Now, for the public conduct and communication, I want to make this clear ahead of time. What should voters avoid doing at polling stations, for example, in terms of their attire, photography, or campaigning, or whatever? What can they do and not do?
12 o'clock on the 26th, 12 midnight, we should have everything cleared in terms of your paraphernalias, your attire, and all of that. You come to the polling station, you come in neutral colors. No yellow, no red. We don't want that. Don't wear any symbol. Some people are very malicious, but the law guards against that. You don't want to go there and intimidate
So you should
anybody.
wear plain clothes.
Wear plain clothes. Avoid those colors because you know what they stand for. Even if you didn't wear something with symbol, just avoid the colors. You have something else you can put on. And you get there.
But if they do wear a color, they would still be allowed to vote.
We will allow them to vote. It is their right to vote, and some persons just do it maliciously to come up with some confusion. We are not taking on those persons who are looking for mischief.
Okay. How can the public and media access verified information on election night and avoid misinformation? Because we know...
Misinformation going about all now. All now. We're fed up with the misinformation. But the media, there's always a media team. There's always a media team. When the ballots are counted, they are sent to the returning officer.
Okay.
The returning officer would send the information, and we will get that information to the media team, who will make sure we have verifiers. The returning officer would verify the information coming from the presiding officer, because that is written on what is called the Form 16. So the Form 16 has the results. How many persons voted, how many ballots were issued. So there is a reconciliation there.
So trusted media source at the Agency for Public Information, NBC Radio, these are trusted sources that persons can
Trusted
listen
sources. You must know your source. But we have the misinformation, but they will have their link when that is organized, finalized, because it's being organized now. Those who want the link will have the link, so that at least they too would be able to share the information.
What is your message to political parties, candidates, and their supporters ahead of the election as a supervisor?
The parties sign a code of conduct. I want them to stick to it, and to encourage their supporters to be calm, be respectful. We want a peaceful election. We would like to see that we always do a peaceful election. We always have a transparent election, a free and fair election. We are not saying that at times some persons might come with some situation that we have to address. We are not saying after all the training that somebody might not start off, because it could be intimidating.
Right.
And all now it is intimidating, because officers are being threatened. They are being told if they don't do this, what will happen, who will fire them, who will prosecute them, even our registration officers who are doing the registration. And I ask that they show respect. Where the law is silent on many cases, it is being abused. People use their situation, stand up in front their presiding officers, the registration officers, go and bang on their desk, take their pictures, put it on social media, talk about it is alleged what they are doing, and all we are doing is taking personal information from the registrants. And so we ask them to be respectful, to show the restraint, to give a peaceful environment, and let us have a peaceful, transparent, free and fair elections,
Okay.
as we always do.
Looking ahead, how does the Electoral Office plan to continue improving voter education and engagement beyond this election?
We have always been in the constituencies. Since 2020, in 2021, we had SUFRE, and so after that, we did civic education. We went to every single secondary school on this island, except in 2 cases. One, when I met the principal, he said his phone was out and he didn't get that. He did not invite me to come after. And one church, they did not allow us to come. For whatever reason, we don't know. But we spoke with all students on the day when we went. Once they were present, the schools allow us to speak to the children from Form 3s to 5. Some schools did not send their Form 3s, but we had 4th and 5th formers. They were able to ask us questions. We spoke about elections, because we knew that if we calculate their age, they would be voting in this election.
Right.
And what some of the things we notice is that when they're young and they turn 18, they really don't pay attention to register.
Right.
Except they have a job or they are going to travel.
Okay.
And so we said, do that as soon as you turn 18. When you turn 18, make sure you go to your constituency and register. Okay. So we invite them to do that, and we will continue to do that. Even when you speak to people, when you came, you met me outside.
Right.
And I was trying to reinforce to a young lady. And she keeps saying, somebody tell me. This source says, many of the sources are wrong. Get it from the right source. Get the information from the right source. And you have up until the 13th, next week, Thursday, to register. We find new voters are just coming. They're in their 20s. They're in their 30s. We are appealing. There are many persons who are trying to transfer. Some of them are truthful. Others are not. And we have to do investigations. We try to keep up and make sure that we investigate the cases and make sure that we grant people their wish. Once you're asking for transfer, we have a number of persons whose card were out since 19, they now coming to update their card in the 15 days. So we're asking them to do that as it becomes, do it.
Yes.
Don't wait to come and see if you could, the old folks say, sampatos. Let us be fair.
Okay.
All that is part of the free and fair elections.
Okay, the entire process.
Every one of us, we have a mantra. It takes you, me, all of we to sustain our democracy. And if we try, and you are doing something on the side that is not correct, you are affecting our democracy. You are affecting the transparency of the elections. So all of us have a responsibility.
Thank you so much, Ms. James. Is there anything I have not asked that you'd like to address?
I will just continue to ask people to go out and register and to ask them to go and vote. We don't want, at the time when we are doing our stats, the turnout is low. We would love to know that a number of persons get up and went out to cast their votes.
Exercise their democratic right.
Please, we fought long and hard to have people being able to vote. Before 1952, everybody didn't have that choice. And they must know their history. Get up and go and vote and do it in a peaceful way.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Hi, I'm Sandra, and I'll take you step by step through the voting process in St. Vincent and the Grenadines as we get ready for general elections. First, let's meet the Supervisor of Elections, Mrs. Dora James, who is appointed by the Governor General and is the overall administrator of the electoral process. Now let's see what happens on Election Day. Your polling station opens at 7 a.m. As you enter, you will see the directions for the guidance of voters in voting. The presiding officer will open the ballot box in the presence of everyone to ensure it's empty. The ballot box is then locked and placed in full view of everyone present in the polling station. When it's your turn to vote, you must present your ID card and state your name for all to hear. The poll clerk will check the voters list and ensure that your name and voter number correspond to the info on the voter registration card. The clerk will also place a mark on the voters list next to your name and voter's number. Here's what the presiding officer will do next. Examine your finger for any marks that indicate you have already voted. Put the election official mark on the ballot paper along with his or her initials. Mark the voter's number on the counterfoil of the ballot and give you instructions on how to vote. The presiding officer will also detach the ballot from the ballot book, fold it, and then hand it to you. You will then enter the private voting booth, where you would use a black lead pencil to mark an X in the space of the ballot, which contains the name and symbol of your candidate choice. After voting, fold the ballot, leaving the initials of the presiding officer and the official mark visible. Hand the ballot to the presiding officer, who will check that the ballot has initials and the official mark. Once you've cast your vote, the presiding officer will then tell you to dip your right index finger in the indelible ink. He or she will then remove the counterfoil and place the ballot in the ballot box for you and all others present to see. Congratulations, you have voted. If you are in the voting line at 5 p.m., you will be allowed to vote. Thanks for watching.
Read, learn, grow. The children are the future. Help them read, learn, grow. Only reading is the key, so help them read, learn, grow. Let's show them how much fun it is to read, learn, grow. So parents, you play a part. First and foremost, reading from so young is advantageous. Link with the teachers. Working hand in hand is a must. Just 10 minutes of your child reading to you is a plus. Get fun books, make reading priority. When children read, they are able to learn. And the more they learn, the more they grow. So parents help the kids read, learn, grow. Reading is fun, kids have to know. Read, learn, grow. The children are the future. Help them read, learn, grow. So parents, you play a part.
This message is brought to you by the OECS USAID Early Learners Program, funded by United States Agency for International Development. For more information, log on to www.oecs.org/ELP.
In Community Beat this week, we take a look at the Kings Hill Forest Reserve, the oldest forest reserve in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and the second oldest in the Western Hemisphere. It was established in 1791 to attract clouds and rain. The reserve is not without its challenges, and more so during the hunting season. In this Keisha Woodley report, Forestry Supervisor with responsibility for law and compliance, Bradford Latham, along with his colleagues, highlight some of the threats to the reserve.
Yes, we are now on location at the base of the Kings Hill Forest Reserve, and Mr. Latham is going to tell us why is hunting prohibited in this area.
Yes, thank you very much, Kesha. Kings Hill is one of the oldest forest reserves in the Western Hemisphere. It was declared on the 2nd of April in 1971, and this was mainly because of its power in terms of attraction of rain. During one of the period earlier time, there was an El Nino, where it was a dry spell and there was no rain, but any little bit of precipitation that fall, it was coming over Kings Hill Forest. And hence the powers that be in that time declared this area or forest as a reserve, and it's one of the oldest. We have different species of trees here. Some of the dry forest species, you have one called the naked Indian, you have the locust, we have poitou, we have what we call the white cedar. These are some of the species here. All serving in terms of protection, habitat for the wildlife species, and also it is also important for the attraction of rain. That precipitation helps in the area for plant growth. Now today we are mostly concerned about this reserve as a wildlife reserve and a forest reserve. So it's both. A wildlife and the habitat protection, that is why it declared also a forest reserve. So they have the habitat protection and the wildlife protection. And it's important that we conserve and protect this area, because it's important that the species during the open season, it serves as an area that is able to a safety for the species, so that they could able to, any species that run into this reserve, they are not supposed to be pursue them, so that they were able to be there safely and help to replenish the area again. So that's why we encourage persons not to hunt within the forest reserve, Kings Hill Forest and Wildlife Reserve, and there's a penalty. You could be charged up to $2,000 if you found hunting inside of this reserve.
Ribbons on the trees, what do they signify?
Well, we call them flagging tape. We use them for marking trails, and sometimes they act as deterrent to trespassers. Seeing the flagging, you know, well, most times it's forestry was in the area, so you can act as a deterrent and tell them, well, we should not come in here because forestry is frequent in the area, so we just use it as a deterrent for flag the trail.
What about, do you harvest trees, like old trees, or you just allow them to fall along anyway, and just, how do you manage the tree growth?
Well, we don't really do just natural vegetation. If a tree fall, and it fall in an area that not prevented us from pass, it just stay there rotten and our nutrients go back down in the soil. If it's somewhere that we just pass, we just clear the area for maneuvering and such.
So no sale of lumber for furniture or such?
Well, the thing in a commercial species in here, like mahogany, blue maho, most is dry forest as species as later mentioned before. So basically, and like trumpet is a pioneer species, meaning that if, for instance, if a natural disaster, the species most likely be the species will come back through first before any other species.
I wonder what's the oldest tree in here. It would be cool if you all could identify the oldest tree in here, seeing the reserve is so old.
Well, as I say, the pioneer species might be the oldest species, because if I had a natural disaster, they will come to first, but probably it could be others, like the locust and the gombalinga, Mr. Later mentioned before.
Okay. I am seeing mango trees and I'm seeing seedlings about. Why is this species important in the forest reserve?
Well, they could go also in a home where birds and other wildlife can come and have food, you know. It's over nutrition for the birds.
Douglas, when does the hunting season close?
The hunting season began October the 1st and it closed January the 31st, next year, 2026.
And there's a grace period of 3 days.
Within the 3 days, after the hunting season closes, you have to get rid of any wildlife meat that you have currently in your freezer.
Why is it prohibited for persons to have wild meat in their freezer, in their possession outside of hunting season? Why isn't that allowed? What's the issue at stake?
Well, you see, you cannot really ascertain the time when someone catches the wildlife and have it in their fridge and the freezer. So if we allow persons to have the wildlife meat in their fridge for a prolonged period of time, it will be very difficult for us to know when exactly they had caught the animal. So it will actually give people the right to be hunting right through. I won't be able to tell when they actually had the animal before.
Yeah, but I'm cooking it in my house. You don't know what I'm doing in my house. And you cannot ascertain that I am cooking it inside or outside of the hunting season. So isn't that a bit too strict?
No, well, we need to protect our species. If we just allow people to just do what they want and have the meats any time of the year, then it will not open the to everybody, you know, because we won't be able to know when exactly you caught the animal. You could tell us, well, we caught it during the season or whatever. So it's better to just have a time span, a time limit, so then anything outside the tree, no, we can say, well, yes, we can, you know, act on it.
And this you came up where we talked about if somebody, you know, sees somebody's yard, somebody's farm or property and they say, oh, this area looks like it has agouti or iguana, can somebody just go into somebody else's property and hunt?
No, they can't. We're asking hunters to desist from entering private properties for hunting. If they want to go, ask permission. They just can't go in and hunt like that.
What's the penalty? Is it the penalty imposed by the owner or, of course, the person can call police?
Well, the owner. We can call police, yes.
Am I allowed to touch this tree? It's okay? Yeah. It's very interesting, the bark stripping off. So this is the Gombalimba.
Naked Indian.
So tell us a little bit more about this, please.
Well, this is a dry species tree, easy to identify from the stripping bark, and it does grow huge. So most of the time you see them as huge gourd. The gourd is the circumference of the tree, and greater 25, 30 feet sometimes. Well, you can see now it in fruiting, where it's bear fruit, and it's a angiosperm, meaning there's a fruit bearing, it'll be a fruit and it'll be a flower. Because you have some trees don't bear fruit or flower, but it's an angiosperm that bears both fruit and flower.
Yeah. So when you say fruit, is it fruit for animal consumption or both human and animal consumption?
Fruit for animal consumption, and so that way it's ideal or imperative that you protect the natural environment and the species, because the wildlife, including birds and iguanas, manico, use the food, use the fruits of feed, birds use the flowers, and it has pollination and also for shelter from rain, sun, wind. Trees are very important for those purposes. So that way it's always good to have reserve. At least, you know, you get some areas that the trees are protected, that the wildlife are protected for future generation and for conservation and sustainability.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah.
You can see here that we have one of the largest white cedar tree in this reserve that you can find in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This is one of the class 2 species of timber. It may not have the good form what a tree cutter will be looking for, but this is a very good tree for habitat, food source for the different wildlife, soil and water conservation. And this tree may be aged in the hundreds of years. In terms of at least 100 and something plus years, I would say, in this area, and all because of the protection that is here. We do have to police and patrol Kingshill a lot because of the various concern of illegal hunting. Persons are normally come through looking to harvest things like yam, bush yams and things like that. So sometimes they dig out areas, and those areas then sometimes cause to form gullies when you have heavy rain. Also, there is the issue of bushfire. Because the area have a lot of leaf litter and dry material on the ground or stuff or branches, if you have a bushfire inside there, it's a major threat to this habitat. And there are different nature of fire. You might have the surface fire. Crown fire is one of the most dangerous, but inside here we have experienced the underground fire, where the fire get down into the root system and burn in the root, similar like you have like a coal pit, a charcoal pit, and that is very difficult for us to fight and to put out, and we have experienced that twice in this area. It took us some days for us to be able to extinguish that fire, and we do have some history in terms of this here area and things to protect and conserve, such as this tree and all the trees in Kingshill, and therefore we are always concerned about person encroach in around Kingshill, around this oldest, one of the oldest in the Western Hemisphere. So we have to do our part.
Island hopping? We got you! Caribbean Airlines connects you to St. Vincent and the Grenadines in true Caribbean style. One flight, endless memories.
Welcome back. This week, Inside Minute takes us to the polling station and shows us how to properly mark our X on Election Day.
Election commences on November 27, 2025. Citizens that are first-time voters must ensure proper documentation are provided for registration. Documentations include original copies of birth and marriage certificates and NIS card, if any. Make sure your name is listed in the right constituency on the voters list and the information listed is accurate. Sandra is going to take us through the voting process as first-time voters in the election season.
You would use a black lead pencil to mark an X in the space of the ballot, which contains the name and symbol of your candidate choice. After voting, fold the ballot, leaving the initials of the presiding officer and the official mark visible. Hand the ballot to the presiding officer, who will check that the ballot has initials and the official mark. Once you've cast your vote, the presiding officer will then tell you to dip your right index finger in the indelible ink. He or she will then remove the counterfoil and place the ballot in the ballot box for you and all others present to see. Congratulations, you have voted.
We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Inside Story. Do join us again next week for another presentation. Remember, the API is your official source for the latest on government information. Please follow our Facebook page where we bring you daily news updates, exclusive features, and much more. My name is Life Compton. Have a great weekend.